This week is actually all about fitting stuff in the engine room. So the whole point is to just fit everything, to see where it sits, to see if everything's lining up, to see what pieces we're missing, what pieces we have.
Our engine rooms will be home to our hybrid electric propulsion system, which is made up of 3 major components. In our portside engine room, which is what we're focusing on in today's video, we've got an 80 horsepower Nani N480 diesel engine, along with a 25 kilowatt Combi electric motor. Then in the starboard side, we'll have another 25 kilowatt Combi. If you want to learn more about all the specs and how the setup will actually work, we've popped some links in the description below to some previous videos that cover everything in a ton of detail. But for now, we're going to show you how we'll fit all the puzzle pieces together in the space that we have and find a layout that's efficient, functional, and practical.
And so that's what this week is dedicated to, and the whole thing is to get everything fit, and then we're tacking everything in. We can't really fully weld stuff with all the equipment in there, so we tack it all together. We take everything apart, we pull everything out, we fully weld everything. We're gonna paint the bilge in the engine room, and then everything goes back in. So this is really just the trial fitting.
Before we dive in with fitting our magnetic clutch,
It's a very tight fit. We put it in the freezer to see if we could shrink it.
dropping in the Combi,
Okay, let's hold right there.
tackling some through holes,
Okay, go ahead.
and breaking in our shiny new gadget to make some brackets for our sea strainers.
You got a new toy, Dan? Ooh.
Let's hop down into the hole and show you what we're working with so far.
So I've got the Nani all covered up with plastic. Up there you can see that I'm starting to mount some of the controllers for the Combi system. It's a pretty good place for it. I built a little bracket and a mount and tacked it up there nice and out of the way. And then we have the brackets for the actual hybrid motor installed. So they're just loosely fitted right now. So, like I was saying before, I'm just making sure that everything fits. I'm not going to tighten anything. I'm just putting the nuts and the bolts together to hold it so I can get an idea of space and what we're going to need to do to finish it off. So basically the electric motor will mount right in here, and then below it is the clutch assembly, and then the propeller shaft will run down here and out through the stern tube.
The electromagnetic clutch will sit right under the Combi motor, so it's the first thing we'll need to fit into position. It's going to be a very important piece of the puzzle when it comes to powering Delos 2.0, as I explained here in a previous video all about our hybrid electric propulsion system. This clutch attaches to the gearbox on one side, the prop shaft, and the propeller on the other. And so the idea is that this is an electromagnetic clutch. So we can actuate this with electricity basically. And what we can do is either engage or disengage the propeller shaft by applying or not applying voltage to this wire, which means that if we're at anchor, we can disengage this clutch, we can spin the diesel engine, which means we can spin this guy and we can utilize it as a big DC genset. And I think we can get maximum slightly less than the total rating of the motor. I think we're supposed to be able to get around 20 kilowatts of power. So if all goes well, we should end up with about a 20 kilowatt DC genset.
So we won't have a separate generator?
We will not need a separate generator. We'll just disengage this clutch, crank up the normal diesel engine. We have almost like running a diesel engine with an alternator to charge your batteries, except it's significantly larger.
What are you doing, Brian?
Vamos. We're actually heading back to French Polynesia very soon, and I decided to brush up on my French.
There's gotta be a better way.
There is, and that's why I'm happy to say that today's video is sponsored by Babbel.
Un vin rouge.
Un vin rouge. Babbel is one of the top language learning apps in the world. The lessons in Babbel are designed by real language teachers, and they emphasize real-world examples.
Salut, ça va? Ça va.
It's been shown that using Babbel, you can actually start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. Bonjour, ça va? Où sont les toilettes?
Ça va bien, merci. Les toilettes sont à droite.
If you'd like to start learning a language in as little as 3 weeks, it is super easy to get started. All you have to do is click the link in our description below, or I'll pop a QR code right here, and you can get up to 60% off your Babbel subscription right now, all while supporting the Delos project at the same time. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and now back to the build.
Now it's time to pop this baby down into the engine room and see how it fits. After getting everything situated, I noticed that I was having trouble getting it to fit perfectly. I was able to get the bolt holes aligned, however the very bottom of the clutch mount was touching the rudder skeg plates for the hull. The engine and everything it's connected to is on mounts. The engine mounts absorb vibrations and let the engine rotate slightly as the RPM is increased. If you've ever seen a car engine rev up in neutral and watch the engine move in relation to the car body, you'll know exactly what I mean. In this case, the clutch mount would rub right on the hole, which is not good. So I marked out the part that extended too far down, and we trimmed off the excess at the bottom to make it flush with the rest of the mount. Another test fit, and voila! Now we have clearance. With the mount fitted, it was now time to actually disassemble the clutch so we could install the bolts that would hold it into place. A task that sounded a lot easier than it actually was.
I've been having a hell of a time getting the magnetic clutch apart for the hybrid system. I need to get the clutch apart so that I can put the bolts inside to bolt it to the frame. I just quickly knocked up this very rude, crude little hydraulic bracket. Just did some quick cuts and some welds. It's got some spacers under here. And so the idea is that as I jack it up, it's basically pressing against the bearing and pulling it up. See how it goes. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, that worked really good. Sweet. Yeah, so basically all that work was just so that we could put these in. Like that. Now we bolt this to this, and then we can put it back together.
Using some renders as a guide, we were able to start reassembling everything after getting all the bolts in. Once again, a task that sounded a lot easier than it actually was. We struggled a lot to get this shaft back into place, and after lots of tinkering and failed attempts, we decided to think outside the box a little and try something with a different approach the next day.
So I put this part in the freezer last night. It was Ryan's idea to see if we could, it's a very tight fit, and I think it's supposed to be pressed in there, but last night we put it in the freezer to see if we could shrink it just enough. And I mean, it works to get it started, but I'm never gonna be able to get that in there without a press. So we're gonna take it next door, and I'll use my frame and the power pack to press and just see what we can do.
So what you're saying is upper body day starts?
Yeah, this thing is heavy. It's getting heavier by the part as well. Okay, you ready? Let's go for a ride.
Here we go. This is actually pretty bad to film because it looks so wimpy. We should just be manhandling this thing and carrying it.
How much does it weigh?
100 pounds? Oh, I'm sorry, 400 pounds.
My plan was to use the same frame and press that we used to get the clutch open, but we need to make a few modifications first.
I built this little frame that with these custom tabs on it to use the hydraulic jack to be able to pull that piece apart. And now I need to do the opposite. So now I need to press this flange into this bearing. What I'm going to go ahead and do is modify this frame, and Dan says I can just weld it straight to the table. I got to put a piece of box in there to make it a little bit higher, so I'm just going to make sure this fits over that, weld it to the table, and then I can use this little hydraulic ram to go up, which should then press that down. That's the plan.
How's it going so far?
So far, it's a lot of fun. You never imagine you just weld stuff to a table, but that's what you do.
You still have yogurt in your beard.
We just had smoko. So you survived your first week.
Week 1 down here in Australia.
Did you learn anything?
Smogo is the thing I've learned the most.
Smoko is a rite of passage.
Yeah, and these
It's
guys.
religious. They take it seriously.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'm on Smoko. So leave me alone. I'm on Smoko. So leave me alone.
These guys don't mess around either. Brian forewarned me. He said that these guys work a lot like I do. Head down, get it done. We take 2 breaks a day for, I'll say, 10 minutes
If you're lucky.
in the morning, and lunch on a stretch is 15 minutes.
Yeah. We better stop talking and start eating.
I know.
Because tick, tick, tick,
Time's
tick, tock.
running up.
So we got sausages today. And what else did you learn about
Tim Tams.
Tim Tams?
They're good. That's what I learned.
Yeah, that's where it's at, huh?
Tim
We
Tams,
got a
where
new
it's at.
convert.
Hello and g'day. Tim Tams are Australia's favourite jockey biscuit.
And if somebody at that gathering was to stand up and say, I don't really like Tim Tams, I prefer mint slice, like you would be within your right to just throw them out of your house, because that is so strange.
I've never met anyone who said that.
That's like saying I'm disappointed with springtime.
Right.
I'm disappointed with bloody Christmas. You know, yeah. Nah. It's
But I digress. Let's get back to the clutch. So our modified frame is ready, and now we're gonna pump her up and see if our plan worked.
Going?
Yeah.
Look at going.
What if you run out of stroke?
Doesn't
Nothing
matter.
worse than running out of stroke, eh, Kaz?
Ooh, it's getting really hard.
Yeah, you're probably out of stroke. So just back it off. And just put it back in there.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
We put a block under the hydraulic ram to get enough reach, and just like that,
The clutch is together. Look at it. I think it looks really nice. So this is the part that goes to the prop shaft, and then this is the part that goes to the transmission or the gearbox. And then you can lift this with 2 people, but I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit hard to lower down in place and hold while we bolt it in and fit it. So I'm just going to put this across, and then we'll use this chain block to lower it down, get it in place, and see how it fits. It's the next step. How are we looking?
Well, the good news is it didn't go flying through the bottom of the boat, so that's
Yay.
good. I think it's super cool that Brian is able to build his favorite room in the whole boat and customize it to exactly how he likes it.
Cool. Bring her down, bring her down. Looking good. A little bit more. And stop.
this task is proof that sometimes it's hard to predict which parts of a project will be the trickiest. In this case, imagine that fitting everything into the mounts would be more of a puzzle, but it slid right into place, and instead the rather unassuming steps of taking it apart to put the bolts in and reassembling turned out to be way more time consuming. But going with the flow and tackling each job one step at a time is the name of the game around here. And the next day, we were ready to see what our next challenge would be.
It's another day. And so up next, this guy, which is sit right on top. So this is the motor. I don't know how much this weighs. I think it's about 60 or 70 kilos. So 150 or 160 pounds.
I don't think it's 160 pounds.
Maybe you're just really strong today.
Nah,
I think it's 60 kilos. So what is that, 130 pounds?
and I have no idea. This metric stuff is throwing me for a loop.
You realize it's only the US that doesn't use it, right?
I agree with that, and I will get behind it. I don't have the quick math abilities right now.
This was a pretty cool moment. After months of dreaming, planning, and designing, we're about to drop in our new Combi 25 kilowatt electric motor that will play a critical role in our hybrid electric propulsion system. Lots of people have been asking, why are you trying to reinvent the wheel with this? Why not just stick with a tried and true diesel setup? But the truth is, we're not just building a boat so that we can have a boat. We're here because we love the process. Designing, experimenting, pushing the limits of what's possible. It's about the challenge, the creativity, and the thrill of bringing new ideas to life. If something doesn't work, we go back to the drawing board, tweak, refine, and try again. That's what makes this build so exciting and rewarding for us. And now we're finally at the stage where we get to see it all start to take shape. The motor's going in, and this is the first big step toward making the hybrid system a reality. Happy with our placement and all the mounting brackets, the next day we had another big job ahead of us.
You hot down there?
It's not so bad, but I wouldn't want to spend the night down here.
Well, our next project, we're gonna be putting in some through holes. And we've got these 2 holes in the boat. One of them is to let water in to cool the shaft seal. And then the other one is to let water in to cool the diesel engine, to cool the Nani. And so we've got these very nice composite through holes from Maryland. It's a company called Forspar in California. They're all composite, they will not corrode, they're super high quality and very, very, very strong. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right.
Step 1 is to clean the surface well with acetone. We previously welded on some backing plates before cutting the holes that doubled the thickness of the hull, and at the same time created a flat surface for the through holes to sit flush with. Next, we put some adhesive on the through hole, the hull itself, and the threads.
Remember, once you put it down, try not to move it.
Right.
We'll center it over the hole and really just keep constant pressure because I'm gonna be pushing up from below, right? So you're really gonna have to push down. Okay, go ahead. Okay, hold it right there. Let me get the threads on. Okay, go ahead and push it down. Okay, I'm starting to tighten. Make sure it's straight. Looking really good. I think that worked pretty well. Go ahead and we'll repeat that for the other side.
The seawater we will pull in via these through holes will need to pass through a filter, so putting in our sea strainer will be our next order of business.
The sea strainer is like a filter for all the salt water coming into the boat. So for like the engine, the air conditioning, any pumps that need salt water, because sometimes, like I think it was in Mexico where we were in the marina, like it sucked up like a jellyfish and it got stuck in this filter and it smelled absolutely foul. So it's good that we have this buffer so we don't bring anything into any pumps or anything like that. So that's why you have those filters, and it's going to be 2 in each hull.
We wanted to create some nice brackets to mount them on to keep the space looking nice and streamlined. So it was the perfect opportunity to test out our latest and greatest addition to the workshop.
You got a new toy, Dan? Toy. Sweet. A bender. Bender. Cool. Ooh, the Metal Master 2000. We're gonna make up some brackets for the sea strainers by using Dan's new toy. So we start out by cutting this with the new saw.
You know that feeling when you have a brand new tool? You're not just excited to use it, you have to push all the buttons, spin all the knobs, and figure out exactly what it can do. And for us, getting our hands on this Benda was a big moment. Until now, anytime we needed an angled piece at a 90 degree, we had to cut individual sections of plate and weld them back together. It worked, but it was very time consuming and every welt meant a little bit more grinding to make it look perfectly tidy. But now, we can take a single piece of aluminum, bend it precisely to the angle we need, and end up with a seamless, strong, and much cleaner looking part. Not only does this save a ton of time, but it also makes the final build lighter and way more efficient. Plus, there's just something ridiculously satisfying about watching the machine in action. It's like ASMR for builders. After tinkering around a bit, we were ready to try it with our first plate to make the brackets. And the results were pretty dang sleek if you ask me.
Let's have a look, Dan. Looks pretty good, huh? Kind of like that.
Yep.
That's beautiful. And then we can make 4 out of that one piece.
Yeah.
I'd say that's a pretty successful test of your new toy.
Yeah.
You know.
I then cut it into 4 equal pieces for each sea strainer, and after tidying everything up with the grinder, I marked the attachment points and drilled holes for them. I took them into the engine room to see how high I wanted them to sit, cut off the excess, and then tack welded them into place, checking that everything was level, and for now, we can call our first bending project a huge success. Later, once everything is fitted in place in the engine room and I'm 100% certain we have everything exactly as we want it, we'll do the final welding on everything. We've made a lot of awesome progress up here already, but we're only really just getting started.
It was a pretty good week. It felt nice to finally start putting some stuff in the engine room, but oh man, there is a lot. If you look around any engine room, you know that there's stuff everywhere, and there's like air ventilation and fuel filters and hoses, and it's fun. It's fun seeing where everything goes, but this is just the tip of the iceberg, so more to come.
Okay, thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end of the video, and hope you enjoyed all the stuff in the engine room this week. Like Brian said, there is so much work still to be done, so make sure you tune in next Friday. And if you do like the videos and would like to support us in some way, you can head to our shop, svdelos.com/shop, and get some sweet merch, or you can also head to our Patreon site, patreon.com/svdelos, and check that out. We have a lot of really cool perks. You can chat with us on a more personal level and all of that good stuff. But yeah, see you guys next Friday and have a good weekend.
Up next on Delos, it's all about the details. We zoom in on some really fun projects that make the boat feel like ours.
Oh, hello. Who goes there?
It's hot. We got audio? It's impossible.
Okay.
Trying to record her on the grinding and the slamming and the hammering.